So let me set the scene for you. There I was, cruising down this long, lonely highway, the only car on the road for miles. You know, the kind of road where you feel like you're the last person left in the world. I was lost in my own thoughts, probably humming along to some tune on the radio, when something caught my eye in the rearview mirror. At first, it was just a flicker of movement, a shadow in the corner of my vision. I blinked, thinking maybe it was a trick of the light, or just my imagination playing tricks on me. But then, I looked again, and there it was, an unsettling figure, standing right there in the back, staring at me through the mirror. My heart jumped to my throat, and a chill ran down my spine that had nothing to do with the AC. Panicking, I hit the gas, thinking if I could just put some distance between me and whatever that thing was, I'd be okay. But the more I looked in the mirror, the closer it seemed to get, almost like it was defying the laws of physics or something. Every time I glanced back, it was like the figure was drawing nearer, step by eerie step. My mind was racing. Who was this? What did they want? I felt this overwhelming sense of dread, like I was being hunted. I thought about calling the cops, but with every glance in the mirror, I could feel this invisible force, like it was daring me to make a move. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I spotted the lights of a gas station up ahead. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might burst right out of my chest. I pulled into the station, practically skidding to a stop, and without even shutting off the engine, I grabbed my phone and dialed 911. The dispatcher's voice on the other end was like a lifeline, and I blurted out what was happening, how there was this figure following me, getting closer every time I looked. They assured me that they were sending a unit to the gas station and told me to stay put. As I sat there waiting for the police to arrive, I watched the mirror like a hawk, half expecting the figure to appear in the backseat of my car. But when the police finally got there, they searched the area and found nothing, just empty darkness. It wasn't until later, when they had done some digging, that they found out who the figure was, a hitchhiker with a dark past, someone who had been involved in some pretty sinister stuff. The police said they had been tracking this person for a while, and they were amazed I had managed to spot them. So remember, when you're out there on the road alone, always keep an eye on that mirror. You never know what might be lurking just out of sight. It was a stormy night, rain pounding against my car's windshield as I navigated a deserted stretch of road. The visibility was poor, and the windshield wipers struggled to keep up with the relentless downpour. My heart raced as I gripped the steering wheel, anxiety coursing through my veins. And then, as if fate had other plans, my car gave a sudden shudder and came to a halt. Panic set in as I realized I was stranded in the middle of nowhere, the rhythmic pattering of raindrops on the roof my only company. I fumbled for my phone, hoping for a signal, but the screen stubbornly displayed no service. Resigned to my situation, I sat there, the rain outside drumming a relentless beat. Time seemed to stretch on, and I began to weigh my options, wait for help, or try to walk to the nearest sign of civilization. But just as doubt began to gnaw at me, the piercing headlights of another car sliced through the darkness. Relief washed over me as the vehicle pulled over, and a figure emerged. He looked friendly enough, offering an umbrella to shield me from the rain. I thanked him, struggling to keep my unease in check. His smile seemed genuine, but something in his eyes made me hesitate. As he approached, his demeanor subtly shifted. The friendly facade slipped away, and I felt a growing sense of unease creep over me. His questions became probing, his gaze intense, and my instincts screamed that something was off. I tried to subtly distance myself, my heart pounding in my chest, and then he took a step closer, invading my personal space. A wave of alarm surged through me, and I knew I needed to get away, fast. My voice trembled as I made an excuse to leave, my heart racing as I backed away from him. His expression darkened, and I could feel his intentions becoming clearer by the second. In that tense moment, as the rain continued to fall in a relentless torrent, I managed to break away. With adrenaline coursing through my veins, I stumbled back to my car and locked the doors. My fingers fumbled for the keys, and just as I managed to start the engine, the stranger's angry shouts echoed in the rain. I sped away, heart pounding, until the distant glow of headlights signaled another car approaching. I pulled over, signaling for help. The passing motorist stopped, Concern etched on their face as I quickly explained the situation. They offered to escort me to the nearest town, ensuring my safety. As we drove away, my mind raced with a flurry of emotions: relief, gratitude, but also a lingering sense of dread. Later, after recounting the harrowing encounter to the authorities, I learned that the stranger had a history of violent behavior. That stormy night served as a chilling reminder that sometimes the kindness of strangers can hide a darkness that we can only hope to escape from. Late one evening, I found myself driving along a winding road, the darkness outside only pierced by the glow of my headlights. The familiar hum of the engine provided a sense of comfort as I navigated the twists and turns, each bend revealing a new stretch of pavement shrouded in shadows. As I focused on the road ahead, my attention was suddenly drawn to my rearview mirror. There, in the distance, I caught a glimpse of another set of headlights, steadily growing closer. I didn't think much of it at first. After all, it's not uncommon to share the road with other travelers, especially on routes like this. However, as the moments passed and the distance between us remained unchanged, a flicker of unease began to creep into my mind. The other car seemed to be tailing me, its headlights casting an almost blinding glare in my mirrors. I couldn't discern any distinct features of the vehicle, just those glaring lights behind me. In an attempt to shake off the growing sense of unease, I decided to change my speed and take a few unplanned turns. But no matter what I did, the other car persisted, staying right behind me like a shadow. My heart started to race, and my palms grew sweaty as I grappled with the realization that this wasn't a mere coincidence. My mind raced through various scenarios. Was it just someone in a rush? Maybe they were lost and coincidentally following the same path. Yet, the feeling in my gut told me otherwise. The longer those headlights remained fixed in my mirrors, the stronger my conviction grew that this was no ordinary situation. I began to question my next move. Should I continue driving, leading them to my destination? Or should I try to lose them, find a more populated area where I could get help if needed? Each option carried its own set of risks, and panic started to claw at the edges of my thoughts. With my heart pounding in my chest, I made a split-second decision. I veered off the road and pulled into a gas station, a haven of light and people. As I parked, I anxiously watched my rearview mirror, waiting to see if the pursuing car would follow suit. But to my immense relief, the headlights continued down the road and eventually vanished into the night. I sat in my car for a few moments, my breath coming in ragged gasps, trying to process what had just transpired. Who were they? What had they wanted? The questions swirled in my mind, each one carrying a heavy weight of uncertainty. As I finally stepped out of the car and into the bright lights of the gas station, a mix of emotions washed over me: relief, confusion, and a lingering sense of vulnerability.